Bardown Beauties with Jesse Pierce and Kirsten Kroll. Two hockey minds trapped in bodies that can't skate. They may have never laced them up, but they'll break it all down with sharp takes and plenty of laughs. This is Hockey Talk, the Beauties way.
Hello, good morning, happy Monday as always. Jesse Pierce, Kirsten Kroll coming to you hot with another episode of Bardown Beauties. Shout out to everybody that I bumped into, Kirsten, at the expo or at the high school games that said hello and said they were big fans. It always warms my heart.
I love to hear that. I don't know. This is going to come off aggressive, but what else do I bring to the table on a Monday morning? I get the opposite. Love him. He's a great friend, great pal. Love seeing him. It's all in good fun. I get John DeCosmaker coming up to me, being like, "We listen to the podcast. You're rooting for Minnetonka over Moorhead." It was all in good fun, but I get my takes thrown at me.
Same. I mean, ditto, right? Obviously, I had once upon a time said the Team USA wasn't even going to medal, and here we sit. And I own it. I did. I was worried, and I'm glad I was wrong. It's fine. It happens to the best of us. You mentioned Minnetonka, Moorhead. I want to talk. We got some good hockey this weekend.
Great hockey this
Minnesota
weekend.
Wild played great, but the Class A and AA boys state tournament championships did not disappoint. Hibbing and Warroad, they go to overtime. Warroad comes out on top. I love the Northern schools duking it out, getting a little exposure there. And then you mentioned Minnetonka Moorhead, the Spuds, which is easily the greatest high school mascot ever to exist because it's literally just a potato. Comes from behind, beats Minnetonka in double overtime. And Minnetonka was a hell of a team. They were so fast, like watching them. I was like, how are these high school kids? They were so incredibly good. But Kirsten, beyond just those games, Minnetonka did not have a post-game press conference. And yes, they are children and yes, they are kids. And it's a good reminder at how hard this is. I don't love that. I don't love that the lessons weren't learned, which is what sports are kind of all about at that level, because there's something to be said about still showing up at the end of the day. It didn't turn out how you wanted. And that's the hard thing about playing a game. But I don't know. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It was a very interesting choice for Minnetonka to not have that availability.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough look. Yes, they are children. They are literally just kids playing a game, and probably one of the hardest things, at least in their hockey career, they've encountered up to this point. But yeah, that was a big learning opportunity taken away. And I think ultimately that comes down to coaching. You lead by example. You have your captains, but you are the leader of that program. You need to be showing your kids the way. So I think it's just a bad look all around. Like, I'm sure, yes, incredibly disappointing the way that game went down. You're up 3 goals in the third period and Moorhead comes back, forces double overtime, and then you lose. I totally get how completely devastating that would be, but that's life sometimes. So yeah, just kind of disappointing. But then you have the added layer of kids are ripping off their medals and throwing them. It's just, I'm trying to use my words lightly because they're kids, but it's incredibly poor sportsmanship.
Exactly. I remember seeing Casey Middlestat do that when he also got second place in the state tournament. And I remember it kind of rubbing me the wrong way. I was like, oh, I don't love that. You know, again, at the high school level, it's about learning how to be a leader, how to be a teammate, how to show up. And not to mention there's an opportunity in that post-game press conference to laud your kids for what a great season they had and to give props to Moorhead and say, you know what, they did this. It wouldn't have to be an attack necessarily on like, oh, how did you lose by 3? How did you give up that lead? That's not what that post game would have been about. And I think all the reporters that are covering the high school tournament are aware of that. They are not going to be there to knock these kids when they're down. It's not like they're going to get attacked like they're professional athletes because they're not. So you have a little bit of a bubble around them still. But yeah, I think even from a captain, as a captain, you would love to have seen him say, we got to go out there and talk about this. We got to go say, congrats to Moorhead and congrats on the game that they won, frankly. So I did. It just kind of, it's unfortunate. Yes, as you said, Kirsten, they're kids. So I'm not going to attack them for that. I know in that moment, it's a lot of emotions, especially if you're a senior and it was your last year and you left it all out there. But I think it was just, kind of a bummer to see them take that approach.
Well, and also, unfortunately, now the narrative isn't going to be how great of a game that was and how talented this team was. The lasting memory in a lot of people's minds now are going to be how they acted after the final buzzer.
Yeah. Yeah. It's too bad. But again, they had a great season. They were a fun team to watch. A lot of really good players there. Congrats to Moorhead. Congrats to Warroad. Matamidi Kirsten did not make it to the championship. They got third place. It was fun. I took the
There they
kids
go.
Friday. Got to wear the jacket,
I bet that made you very happy.
It did. It was nice. It was Caden wanted me to paint my face.
You should have done that.
Kind of
That was a missed opportunity.
it was trade deadline, so I was trying to also stay on top of all of the trades. We'll dive into that in just a minute here too that Bill Guerin made for your Minnesota Wild.
I think it would have built character, been a great example for your child to show true dedication, and just an extra layer of passion that I think Wild fans would have came to appreciate while covering the trade deadline. So missed opportunity all around.
I was fresh out of face paint, unfortunately. Where do you even get face paint? Is it an Amazon order? Can you go somewhere locally to buy face paint?
I feel you can just look for acrylic water-based paint that's non-toxic.
But then that's going to what is that going to do to my skin? We just discussed how my
skin
looks
it might dry your skin out, but I think just normal face paint will also dry your skin out.
Possibly. Well, because I'm thinking like matte, the face paint you use for Halloween is different than just paint that you're picking up.
That's borderline makeup.
That's what I would use. If I'm doing it, I'm doing it right. We're using makeup face paint. I'll load up for next year. Halloween, I will be stock full of blue and yellow. And next year, I can give this a go, especially because it'll again be on trade deadline. So
you owe it to Caden.
I do owe it to Caden. He said I wasn't Matamidi enough. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. I drew on his face with marker.
Right. So. He's so right. You weren't.
Before we get into trade deadline, I do want to give a shout out, Kirsten, because we've talked. Remember when the Buffalo Sabres were like the worst thing to ever happen to hockey, and now they are the best thing to ever happen to hockey? What a freaking game yesterday against the Tampa Bay Lightning, two juggernauts who are fighting for first place in the Atlantic. 102 penalty minutes between the teams, 15 goals. Buffalo passes Tampa Bay to now sit atop the Atlantic. What do we do? Snaps? Little snaps maybe, or a little something?
I'm going to do this.
You're going to do that? Yeah. Okay.
Fair. I don't know. I don't think I'm as excited about it as everybody else, because I, for one, am going to miss Buffalo being the butt of the joke and how it's been 14 years since they haven't made the postseason.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sad to put that narrative to bed, but I guess that's just more ammo to throw the Toronto Maple Leafs way.
That's so
for
true.
Everything. Wow, that leads to a whole other conversation. But I guess, yeah, more hostility to throw towards Toronto.
Is Toronto now our kind of, you think that's who replaces Buffalo as like, let's talk about how terrible Toronto is?
I wouldn't say necessarily that's the narrative, but it's getting close. It's more just not being able to advance past the second round.
But we can't really talk, right? Like
well, we also haven't existed as long as Toronto. It's been over 40 years.
And we just
have some time.
Hadn't had the team that Toronto has had in order to advance. Like, to me, that's the bigger outlier. Like, you're really good. You should be advancing, no problem.
And and how too, just even with the trade deadline, they were throwing Matthew Nyes' name around for the right price. And I'm just like, I don't think Matthew Nyes is the problem.
No. Like, yeah, they can never figure it out. They couldn't do it with their core four. They got rid of. They thought Mitch Marner was the problem. He's evidently not the problem, as we had known from the outside. Like, I would hate to go play in that. I think I'd hate to play in that province. Like,
I in general would hate to play in Canada. I think, except for Edmonton or Ottawa. I think Ottawa has just become so
interesting.
I don't know the word I'm looking for, but I think Ottawa fans have just this understanding of where they're at.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then Edmonton just, I don't know. But otherwise, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver. I don't think I could do any of those three.
Vancouver is messy. You didn't see a lot of movement from a lot of the Canadian teams. You didn't see a lot of movement in general, I didn't think, at this year's trade deadline. Bill Guerin, we all knew he wanted to be active. We all knew he wanted to get a center. He did. He got Michael McCarron, who is a giant body, scored a goal and an assist in his debut. They also had Nick Foligno, which I am so freaking excited for the energy in that locker room. Like, I texted Marcus right away, Kirsten. I was like, hey, congrats. I'm so amped for you and your brother. He's like, thanks. We're so excited. And I said, can that room handle 2 Folignos? He goes, no, it's going to explode. And I'm just so excited. Marcus is still out, but you can bet your ass he is going to be hustling to get back. I still am not overly confident that the injury isn't that serious. It's week to week right now. But John Hines was very flippant on telling us if he was season ending or not. So I'm not overly convinced or optimistic, but we'll see. But I need that energy.
I need it too. You're definitely going to see Marcus Foligno play again this season, especially just knowing his brother's on the team. Like, he's not going to pass up that opportunity. So whether he's healthy or not, he's going to be back at some point later on. But yeah, no, I don't know what it was. I think just knowing that it's such a good family, how great of a guy Marcus is, bringing in now his brother, it just like I was emotional about it. It's not necessarily a move I saw the Wild making, but it was a no-brainer. Future considerations, Chicago, they lose their captain, but they're not going to the postseason anyways this year. And then there's rumors circulating this could be Nick's last year, so better just have a chance to go get the cup.
Right.
Exciting, but just I don't know, just thinking of how good of a family that is. It brought nearly tears to my eyes, which sounds dramatic to say, but it did. It was a really feel good story to come out of trade deadline.
Sometimes you need those. And again, Bill Guerin is so locked in on the good vibes and the chemistry, and Nick Foligno is going to fit in so seamlessly. Like, even in his debut against the Colorado Avalanche, which Minnesota lost to in the shootout yesterday, you could see him kind of taking on his immediate captain role. Like, come on, Zuki, come on, do that. Like, he just jumps right in, and he is that voice. He's just that presence, and he'll fill the role. He knows he's probably going to be knocked out once Marcus comes back out of the lineup. Played 9 minutes last night, was a +1. I thought he had a nice game, but it's not like he's a game changer. But as you said, for future considerations, I don't need a game. That's fine. Like, you're just doing him a solid, exciting, cool opportunity for the brothers. You guys all want brothers to play together for every team. Well, now you got it, which I love. Wild also add Bobby Brink, which I really like, because now here's the argument, and here's what kind of annoys me, Kirsten, a little bit, a little rant. We've all known that, yes, you overpaid for David Jiricek, and that's fine. And now everybody during this trade, which was a 1-for-1, which I love when Bill Guerin pulls a 1-for-1, because that's incredible, to move on from a guy that's not panning out here and to get Bobby Brink, who has a lot of untapped potential. I think he's a middle six winger, is brilliant. Now, everybody on the flip side is like, oh, so you gave up all these first rounders for Bobby Brink, essentially. It's like, no, you're recouping your loss of David Jiricek. You are getting something in loss. You already got Damon Hunt back, which is great. And then you're recouping a little bit of that. It's not the picks. You already lost the picks. The picks were already gone regardless. But now you have a player that can actually do something and can contribute. I freaking love it.
I do too. And point blank, David Jiricek didn't pan out the way we had hoped that he would. So you cut your losses while you can. If the Wild would have waited to act, I don't know how much they genuinely, really, if anything, they could have gotten back for him. And yes, like you had mentioned, Bobby Brink, I think definitely an underrated player. Again, not necessarily a player I had on my radar or saw like a spot for, but at least where things sat at the deadline, because everyone was so fixated on getting a center. But no, I love it. But also too with this, because online there was a lot of criticism for Bill Guerin's comment about how this isn't a family reunion. I think we need to talk about that.
Yes,
because a lot of people taking his comment and running away with it, just saying like how awful of a person Bill Guerin is and how he could say that. And from somebody who doesn't play in the NHL but works for her hometown team, you would not believe the amount of people that ask me for tickets or free things or autographs or to try to introduce them to somebody, let alone being one of the players on the team and maybe having more access. I use loosely because I don't know. But I think that comment by Bill Guerin was made because he understands what the pressure is like playing for your hometown team and maybe being the bad guy for Bobby Brink, being like, you're not getting free tickets.
Yeah.
You're not getting free things. You know where to go to get that, because he knows people are going to be begging and asking for those things.
Mm-hmm. And I could not find it. I know it's in my email because I know I transcribed it, because I remember when they signed Brock Faber to that extension, those exact words came out of his mouth about signing Brock Faber too. And it's not meant to be a slight. It's not Mr. Oh, no fun, we're not having fun type of situation at all. So I'm really shocked at the way that it took on these legs, because it's nothing. He didn't say anything bad. He's not saying like, oh, I don't care about, it's not a Tortorella move where it's like, I don't really care that he's playing in his hometown. That's not it. I think you're exactly right. It's a reminder that it's a job. Again, Bill Guerin, as a Massachusetts kid, suited up for the Boston Bruins. So he recalls having those same questions asked of him. He's like, I didn't have the money to get all my buddies. Like, go to the ticket office, find that. And again, he said the same exact thing with signing Brock Faber. And I'm almost positive I tweeted that out, and I don't remember it getting the vitriol that this one is. So I think it's really intriguing and really bizarre. And I'm sure Bobby Brink doesn't feel one way or another about it. He's like, yeah, no, he's right. It is a job. I'm here to play hockey. It's great. It's so cool to be that hometown kid. And yes, that first game tomorrow night for him at XL Energy Center in a Wild uniform is going to hit in a different way. And I love that for him. And I don't think Bill Guerin is going to take that away. Like, he wants him to feel special and emotional, but it's a job. It is what it is. You're showing up to work, and that's all he meant by it. But I agree. I thought it was really interesting to see how angry people were about Bill's comments in that regard.
I think it was unwarranted. I genuinely do just think Bill is trying to look out for his players and not put them in a situation where they would have to now be fielding all of these things, and that he was willing to step in and be the bad guy in this situation. So yeah, this situation, I think the criticism was unwarranted.
And I need to remind you, as Bill Guerin told us, post-Olympic availability, pre-deadline availability, he doesn't care what you think. And he said that word for word. I frankly don't care. So there might.
I need to embody some of that energy. Like, I'm gonna make frank. Social media has been pissing me off. Like, I'm about to delete everything and go off the grid, and like no one hear from me or see from me. Like,
please.
Well, no, people are gonna yell at me for saying "see from me" because that's not a proper phrase. No one's gonna hear from me or see me. No, just like, it's gotten out of hand. Like, I don't remember social media being this bad. Like, everybody is just willing to jump at anybody for anything.
For nothing. Like, if you misspeak a little bit, or you have to, we've always been, as podcast people, as kind of public facing folks, I think we've always been very deliberate in our words. And I think that's always important when you're saying something, especially in our position. But yeah, like I'm
live and saying a miss instead of a miss because it's live and you're just free thinking. But yet no one cared about the content of a video. They cared about you not using a word the right way.
It's everything. Or I wore on Judd's hockey show, I wore my Matamide letter jacket because it was game day. And I was getting yelled at because people thought I was wearing a Michigan jacket, which I didn't realize we hate Michigan so much. I don't really understand where that hatred came from anyway, but I was like, it's a Zephyr. Like, what are we doing? And I mean, I'm talking like several comments about it. Like, I hate this. That's so terrible. You cover Minnesota sports and you hate Minnesota. I'm like, no, I don't. What? And Twitter, or X, is the worst. Like, I have tried to limit my time on there because it is god awful. Like, what a terrible place to be, because it's always constant. It's just a constant bath of negativity. And I know it's important to be present there a little bit, because that's how we get our word out, whether it's about the podcast, whether it's about hockey. Like, I'm so used to it. It's become a part of my daily habits when it comes to reporting. But I'm over on Blue Sky. You guys can check me out on there, because that's a lot nicer of a spot. It doesn't have the following, but I'm so tired of the constant anger and the constant like anxiety it's providing. Like, it's not supposed to be that way. I'm trying to share things with you guys.
No. I just, even too, this is something that's really bothered me because it's gotten a lot worse. Just the weird comments some people feel empowered to leave, like on my Instagram, on my Facebook. I'm like, these, I don't even, it makes me uncomfortable. It really does. But then also too, like I like to bring humor into everything that I do. And there was a TikTok I made being completely just so unserious of me hosting a wild game. And I was like, no one here knows it, but my tummy really hurts and I'm being brave about it. It was like the caption on the video. Somebody decided to comment on it yesterday and was like, oh, you poor baby, your tummy hurts. And I was like, this was clearly a joke. It's not serious. If you know me, I try not to be that serious.
No, that's just it. Like and that's what I said about the jacket, because I crashed out a little bit in the YouTube comments of that episode, because there's always, my takes can never be taken seriously for whatever reason. And again, that goes into a whole other episode worth we could do about women in sports. Like, if what I say, it's just so stupid, but their takes are perfect, whatever. So I crashed out a little bit, but that's why I said, I'm like, it's a Letterman jacket for the high school tournament. God forbid we have some fun. Like, I'm just trying to like enjoy, and I'm trying to share that excitement. And I know the vast majority of our audience appreciates that. We appreciate you guys. We recognize that. So we won't take that and dull it down. But yeah, it's just, God, what a cesspool. It's gotten really bad. Like everything. That's why, again, you'll see me tweet less and less frequently, especially when the team's away, when I'm not covering them, because I'm like, it's not worth it. I can take this time away. I was about ready to throw my phone in the lake the other day. My God, it was just terrible.
Yeah, that's where
So
I'm
be
at
nice.
now. I'm a very kind person, I would say. I will not be kind to people that are not kind.
No,
Like, I will stick up for myself and my friends and my people, especially if you're being freaking weird in the comments. Like,
Yeah.
I do see those things, and I don't appreciate a lot of it.
You don't get a response for a reason. Like, we see it. It's just I'm not going to say anything. Like,
and I will say this, and my friends will tell you, I'm incredibly easy to rage bait, but I will bite back. And you might not like what I have to say back.
And that's the thing. I will only say something if I am pushed far enough. So when I do respond, I'm done. Like, I'm over it. You're in trouble, because I'm not happy. Or don't bring my children into it either. There was somebody that had done that, how I was a disappointment to my kids. And I was like, that's
so wildly inappropriate.
Right.
So wildly inappropriate. I would like to do a segment where I can just rant about something each week, because that is so up my alley.
Let's do it. Like, one time per episode, we'll just have like, here's Kirsten's 5-minute rants.
No, I think it needs to be limited to 5 minutes, because I could really just keep steamrolling with that one. But it feels necessary, because I do feel a little lighter.
It does. It feels like, you feel that? Just a little off your shoulders. I did. You're right. We needed to say it. Like, if you're not going to say these things to our face, you have no business saying it in the comments. Just a reminder. You're probably going to do it anyway.
The game. You can come up to me and
say it with your whole chest. I dare you. I dare you. Or it is funny, because I do love, last thing I'll say about it, some of them, when I do respond and I'm super witty with it, they delete the comment. And I was like, exactly. Like this. That's what I thought. Like, I'm not going to give you the airtime and retweet it, but I will slide in there and be like, oh, is that what
you you respond and they're like, I was just kidding, or I was just teasing. No, you weren't.
No, you weren't.
No, you weren't.
And that's fine. You don't have to like me. I get that. I'm completely okay with that. But then just move on. Move on with your day. Like, that's all we have to do. Be a little kind to each other. And that's on that. We're going to dive into my next rant, which will be playoffs, as we all know. But first, I want to talk about North American Banking Company. You guys, you've heard me talk about them. They're great. My new favorite bank. They made it so easy to switch over from my previous bank. No hassle. Absolutely the simplest of ways. Could not be happier. They offer the best of both worlds, online and mobile banking tools. Exactly what you'd expect out of a national bank. But when I need to talk to a real person, I can visit any of their 6 Twin Cities locations. I'm over in Shoreview. Love it. Switching banks might seem like a hassle, but North American Banking Company has made it so easy. We love them. Go to nabankco.com, nabankco.com, or visit a location near you. They are member FDIC, equal housing lender. Kirsten, I love saving money, but I love spending money. And you know where I love spending some of our harder money? Actually, a throwback to our old school Bardown Beauties shirts that our friends at Soda Stick made.
Oh man, I love those. I love those so much. And also too, I mean, you got a handful of what am I saying? Matamidai apparel Soda Stick created. So if anyone is looking to hop on the train and also want some cool gear like Jesse, you guys can head on over to Soda Stick, whether you want to personalize for your own team or rep any of the big 4. This locally owned shop offers it all, plus shop online or in person at the Hockey Lodge or Pure Hockey. And you can use code Bardown Beauties at checkout for 15% off. I also actually had somebody slide into my DMs over the weekend, I think it was, and say, hey, thanks for the code. I
Yeah.
was able to get a discount at Soda Stick. And I was like, thanks for listening.
I love it. I know I got I had a message about that like a week or two ago, and I was like, oh good, yes, use that. Let Soda
Yeah.
Stick know that we're here.
We love a deal.
We
We love
love
a deal, and we love locally owned, and we love good people and good quality merch to spend your hard-earned money on.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. Kirsten, let's rant on. Let's rant on about hockey. Let's rant on about playoff hockey. Not the fact that the Minnesota Wild are in such a great position, not the fact that 3 of the Central teams are in the top 4 of the National Hockey League, but maybe about the fact that 2 of those teams will not advance past the second round. You will not see them in the conference finals. That's right. Colorado is number 1 in the National Hockey League. The Dallas Stars are number 2 in the National Hockey League. Carolina Hurricanes sit at number 3, and the Minnesota Wild are number 4. But the way that it plays out, the way that the playoffs are structured with the 1-8 format to create those division rivalries, yes, that's great. It sucks. I'm just going to say it sucks this year in particular. And yes, that's probably largely because the Minnesota Wild are going to be greatly affected because you're going to get Dallas in that first round. If you win, you're going to get Colorado. And I'm all for, yes, you're going to have to beat them anyway. You want to beat the best of the best. But it's fun to watch the best of the best in that final round to get to the cup, right?
It is. Well, I mean, unfortunately, until you're not going to get a conference final. This is going to sound insulting to other teams, and I don't mean for it to come off that way. But because you go through the best of the best in the very first round, you're not going to get as quality of a conference final matchup. Like we can hope that we would, but ultimately, I'm sorry, I would rather start off maybe with teams that maybe squeaked their way into the postseason, see those first.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they have that Cinderella story, that would be more fun to see in a conference final. But I mean, it makes almost the regular season matters, but as far as positioning and trying to even get a better spot for a better opponent, it makes the regular season worthless. And I don't know if this was from a verified source, so I'm disclosing that before I make the comment, but I was on Twitter yesterday and somebody had tweeted that Gary Bettman was asked about considering changing the playoff format, and he said, no, I like it the way it is.
Which we all know, Gare Bear, he's going to lock into whatever. Like, I'm surprised that there's not another rumbling of Arizona getting a team again because he's just obsessed with like certain things. And this is definitely one of them. And I know they did have like an availability with him like a week or 2 ago. So I'm sure that is confirmed. He loves it. And
not as good for the game, in my opinion. Like, yeah, you're going to go through these teams anyways, but I do think it hurts the game.
I mean, devil's advocate, part of me sees both sides because I understand what they were trying to do is like, oh, well, look at all the rivalries that Colorado and Minnesota already have. So good, you get to see that early and I think their hope is that you draw in the non-rabid fan base, right? I think he's catering to the outsiders who are like, oh, well, we've seen this rivalry, which right from the rabid fan base, you're like, well, this sucks because I want to see them kind of cruise. I want to see my team play the best of the best rival at the end of it all. I think this year in particular too, it's not just how good the Central is, it's how bad the Pacific is in the West. So it's also like, you look at Colorado has 95 points right now in only 62 games. So they still have, let me do math. Is that 11 games left, 9 games left, whatever.
And they still have 2 games in hand over the Wild.
And they have 2 games in hand. But then you look at the Anaheim Ducks are at 73 points. That is that large of a gap between the Central and the Pacific. And it's just kind of like, well, I'm not saying I would never suggest that the Wild crash out and try to get that wild card spot, but God, that would be really nice to have to go through Vegas, who's at 72 points to Anaheim. Like, it just seems really unfortunate, not even just for Minnesota, but for Dallas and Colorado, who also deserve to be able to move on. Like, these are, again, top in the NHL, not just top in the Western Conference. Top teams in the NHL should not have to duke it out that early on in order to advance to the Cup finals.
Well, and it was just last year we saw this with Dallas and Colorado. Am I right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, exactly right. They were in the first, I think it was Dallas, Colorado in the first round.
Because Colorado was built different.
Did you see, shout out to us for making an appearance in the ticket fees or not ticket fees, in one of like buy your tickets for the Minnesota Wild. Did you see that?
Yeah, the season ticket member video for next season.
And then the slogan is like future is now. Do you think that is like a potential playoff slogan?
I think and we can circle back on this. I am fairly confident because I know last season this happened. They abandoned playoff slogans.
That's right.
So I do not anticipate there being one this year
Okay. Interesting.
because there wasn't last year.
That's a good point.
Which honestly, I prefer,
Yeah.
especially if we're playing Dallas.
Right.
I don't want anything thrown back at us.
And I mean, it started because Grit First.
That
It,
it's about winning.
it's about it's hard. And now, to be fair, it's hard, right? Like I'm not going to claim that that's ever an easy thing to come
It's
think
not.
of.
Those
being
sayings in
marketing.
and of themselves are great, but they're not great when they get thrown back at you when you lose a playoff series.
Yeah,
I still remember Colorado's, and I'm still gonna be using that as long as I can.
yeah, that's because you can. Why not?
I will.
They
I
said
will.
it. They said it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't need one. Like, just put playoffs on my little rally towel. It's fine.
No, and we saw it last year. The precedent has been set league wide. Rally towels are sick. We need to continue to do something cool.
Yes. I even don't mind the pom-poms. Like, if you give them a little extra oomph, like maybe, they're kind of just something. I need to wave something. I need to do something with my hands if I'm attending. I'm never attending the games in that manner anyway, but because there's no cheering in the press box.
There's cheering at section 123.
Exactly. You
So I
can do that.
can.
You get to show us the towels and do all that. One other thing I wanted to note on the trade deadline. First of all, I guess we didn't answer this either. Do you think Bill Guerin did enough? Like, how do you feel about this team since we just talked about having to face Dallas? How do you feel this team is going to fare against it? I really like the moves Colorado made. I think Nicholas Roy is great. Nicholas Roy. Not great. That's aggressive, but he's good. I thought that was a good addition. And then obviously to get Kadri back, who has the familiarity, has the size. I think Colorado did the best, but how do you feel Minnesota did?
I think Colorado did fine. I don't know. I wouldn't. The moves they made didn't like blow me out of the water. I was like,
No.
wow, that's going to be the difference maker for an already good Colorado team. Like,
Right.
sure, like it maybe makes them better, but it wasn't moves that I was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, I feel threatened. Like,
Yeah.
I say in the best, most respectful way possible. I think Bill Guerin did what he could and what was reasonable because of how expensive it was at this trade deadline if you were trying to acquire a player. Like yes, Trocheck, everyone thought he was going to be moved. Wild knowingly being one of the teams in the mix for him. Carolina also being in the mix. But everyone came away from that agreeing this is way too expensive. We're not willing to sell the future in order to do this now. So the two things Bill Guerin had said was, yeah, it would be nice to have a top 6 center, but also bottom 6. And I think honestly, what Bill Guerin did for that fourth line, that bottom 6 group at the trade deadline, huge. I don't think we're giving that enough credit because that fourth line in playoffs, not going to be fun to play against.
No, absolutely not. And again, they've got size, they've got a little bit of skill there too. They have
physicality,
experience. Yeah, like you can't teach size. And at 6'6", Michael McCarron, it's not a boy you want to go up against. I love that. So he comes in on day 1 at practice. Again, just towering. Can't miss him out on the ice, right?
I'm towering over Kevin Gorg during their intermission interview.
Poor Gorgie. They're going to have to do, I know for Emily Kaplan, they get her like a little stand. Like, part of me feels like he needs one of those.
Okay, but to be fair, that McCarron man is a tall human.
I need a picture of him and like Spurge together.
Yeah,
right.
I would as well.
Or like,
I don't know, just the cries for somebody to get Gorgie a box. I saw that online. And I was like,
do you put a little respect on Gorgie? But they, so of course, everyone in Minnesota Wild Twitter sphere went crazy when they saw McCarron was coming because he's the one that had over exaggerated and actually faked a hand injury when Zuccarello slashed him. Zuccarello ended up getting fined for that. And he didn't even hit his hand. He hit his leg. Anyway, so McCarron comes into post-game availability, says, I'm really excited. I have some familiarity with some of these guys. And so I immediately follow up and I say, yeah, a lot of Wild fans have familiarity with you. They're not really super thrilled. What would you have to say to them? And what he said that Matt Zuccarello walked into that room, grabbed his hand really hard and said, "How's your hand feel?" And then that was it. And then they've all moved on, obviously.
Well,
I love
Midzi
that.
too saying it, I'd rather play with him than against him.
Yeah, because they
So
fought like
welcome to
3-4
our team.
times, right? So good. And it's again, for some of those players getting moved at the deadline, what a dream to come to this team with Quinn Hughes. Like Nick Foligno's got to be just jacked, right? Like this is amazing. I finally get to play the really, really good team. Didn't really work in Toronto. Chicago, they were trying to do something, and I think he was really helpful and instrumental there. But in Columbus, was in his prime and it just wasn't going to pan out. But
Well, and also speaking of the trade deadline, I would like to leave it with this note. I came across a graphic by the NHL day of the trade deadline that said for the last 3 seasons, a team that acquired another team's captain by the trade deadline has won the Stanley Cup the last 3 straight years. And then leading into this year, Minnesota has taken 2 captains from 2 teams.
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes, Nick Foligno. The only other one was St. Louis to the Islanders.
I did not see that. I like that though. I saw the note about the captains, and that's the other thing. Do we consider Quinn Hughes part of like quote unquote trade deadline? You traded for him, and that was arguably the best trade Bill Guerin has ever made. But most notably this year, do we consider that? Because I thought about adding that when I was going down my list of.
I consider it. I mean, you're talking about big moves. Bill made the biggest move of this entire NHL season back in November.
Yep, December. But yeah, same thing. December 4th. I know because people come for us, and I just want to know that we're clear. We know it's in December.
I don't care. End of November, early December. It's the same thing to me.
Yeah, I love it, and that's God. They're so good. Quinn Hughes. I saw a stat too where Marco Rossi and Zibuliam. Not that I wish anything poor for them, but it's not been going great for them out in Vancouver. And again, that's the whole team in its entirety, which has just been pillaged. I think somebody put a stat out like Vancouver has lost over half of their team from 2 years ago, which is too bad, which is crazy because that year, 2 years ago, they were really good. Like they had a really sound squad. So it is what it is. Let's wrap it up with a buy or sell. Kirsten, do you buy or sell? Speaking of Quinn Hughes, that Quinn Hughes will win the Norris in a Wild sweater.
Buy.
Like it, right? I buy it too. I think
I don't have any other notes. Just
buy.
It's as long as him and Cale Makar are playing at this level, it's between those two year in, year out.
Yeah, which is fair.
And I mean, not that it necessarily matters as far as the Norris Trophy goes, but I think Quinn Hughes has been more important, more impactful to this Wild team than Makar has necessarily been to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that's not necessarily probably award criteria for the Norris, but
57 assists lead the NHL. The bulk of those have been done in a Wild sweater. I also think, and you can again take what you want out of him winning it in a Wild sweater, but it also kind of teases like I feel confident that they could get an extension done with him with what they've been able to do, what they can build around him. Like not saying he's going to win it this year, not saying he's going to win it next. He might, but I'm feeling better and better about the way Bill Guerin's approaching it. Plus, I'm curious to see how free agency gets approached with how minimal was done at deadline, Quinn Hughes aside. I wonder if that's because free agency, there will be more. Because I do get a little uneasy heading into playoffs with Ryan Hartman as my 1C. It just isn't an overabundance of confidence there, but we'll see what happens. So
re-signing Quinn Hughes, he wants to play with his brothers. He's going to New Jersey. I've heard enough. We've heard enough.
We've heard enough. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Shout out to our friends at Score North, North American Banking Company, and Soda Stick. As always, we do appreciate all of you guys. Just be kinder to not just us, but other people. Like, it costs nothing. I mean, it costs nothing to be an asshole either, but like either way, it's fine. Have a great rest of your day. Wild 3 home games this weekend, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You will catch us out there. So certainly stop by, say hello. And we will be back next week. Talk to you later.
Very near.